Right, so some of you may have noticed that yesterday I uploaded a video which has now been taken down, and you might be wondering why is it being taken down? Let me explain. So it was a situation between two TikTokers, right? The first one being emilyclaretattoo, and the second one being Abbey Brookee. Now, Emily had made quite a few videos talking about how she went to Abbey Brookee, who is a hairstylist, and had her hair like dyed or whatever from Abbey, and then over time her hair started like frying off. Obviously, straight away, sounds like a really shitty situation, but then Emily goes into even more detail about how all she wanted was a refund, didn't get offered the refund, so she's now suing Abbey. And I originally saw that situation like about a week ago when it was first posted, and Abbey hadn't responded, and I was saying in that video, if you watched it yesterday, like, we only have one side of the story here, so we don't know like what Abbey's response is going to be. Well, about an hour after I uploaded my video, Abbey uploads a video responding, which is great, of course, because we get to see both sides of the story now, but also the video had only been up for like an hour, and I just thought, you know what, I'll take that down, hasn't been up for long, and I can make this video where I show like Emily's videos, like the original videos, and then Abbey's response. It's all in one place. If someone clicks on this video for the first time, they have no idea what the situation is, they can see it all in one video. That was the thought process. So like in the first video, we're going to go through Emily's videos, but it's going to be a bit different because now that I've seen Abbey's response, there are certain points of the story that we do need to focus on because they're the bits that have been responded to. Oh, and also, I'm recording this like a few hours after I recorded the video about a watch. This has all been a bit of a mess, hasn't it? But not only do we have a response from Abbey, we have a follow-up response from Emily to Abbey's response. So there's a lot of new information in this video is what I'm trying to say. But yeah, just bear that in mind. As we're watching Abbey's response, I haven't seen Emily's newest response, but we will get to Emily's newest response at the end of the video. So the videos start off with Emily showing what has happened to her hair, right? So she's went to go into Abbey, she's had like parts of her hair dyed, and she says that her hair has been fried off because of this. She shows these before and after pictures where she says how long my hair was before, and then shows the pictures from after. And the reason Emily is saying this happened is because she is saying that Abbey overprocessed her hair, and she says that she's been trying to get in contact with Abbey for months now to try and come to some solution, but she's not really getting much back, and in fact she says that Abbey was blaming her.
I've been trying to talk to her about finding a solution. Like, fuck up my hair, that's fine. It's just in how you fix the solution that matters. It's what you do to rectify the situation, that's what matters. So, for the past 3 months, I've been trying to talk to her via DMs, even in person, about the damage, and she's just kind of like shrugged it off and blamed me for it.
Emily then says the only reason why Abbey actually reached out to her again was because Emily left a bad review and she was asking for her to take it down. But ultimately, Emily says that Abbey had no solution for her and says that there's nothing she can do, even though she didn't offer a solution in the first place.
After gaslighting me, she pretty much told me that there's nothing she can do to make me happy, even though she didn't offer any solution or try to do anything. And so she's been ghosting me. So it's been about a week of me trying to get a hold of her, trying to contact her business phone line, completely ignored, completely ghosted.
Emily then says because she was getting ignored, she actually went to the salon to speak one-on-one, and she says that Abbey just wasn't bothered in the situation, was just like smirking.
I said I wanted to talk to her in the salon. Immediately, her mom runs up to me and is in my face, trying to talk to Abbey, and Abbey, I pretty much showed her, I said, hey, I figured I'd come and show you in person. This is my hair. Nothing that you lightened is left in it. Can you, like, what can we do? I've tried to talk to you. You've ghosted me. You won't respond to me. I'm desperate. So the whole time Abbey's sitting there smirking at me. She wasn't concerned at all. She had no compassion. She didn't care.
And then Emily explains how they got into like a bit of like an argument of how long it had been since her appointment, where Emily's saying 4 months, Abbey's saying 3 months, and then Abbey actually gets her phone out to show her how long it had been, and Emily says that she did it in an aggressive way.
And she goes, Emily, I lightened your hair 4 months ago. I said, no, it's 3 months ago. It was June. She's like, no, it was May. Anyways, I'm scrolling back to find the date. It was end of May. I thought it was beginning of June, whatever. So anyways, I'm scrolling back to find the date, and she's going, it's May, look. She grabs me so aggressively in the middle of her studio, in the middle of her salon. Anyone that was there can attest to this. She grabbed me super aggressively, yanked me over, and shoved her phone in my face to show me the date of our appointment.
Now, this specific part of the story is very much like, who do you believe, right? Because when we get to Abbey's response, she completely denies this, and she says that the CCTV footage to prove this that she has showed the police, but she doesn't show the footage in the video. She says that she doesn't want to because her clients are there at the same time. And now, obviously, in Emily's video, she's saying that anyone there could like attest for it and that it did happen. We don't know, right? It's two people saying the complete opposites. we don't have any proof for it really. But Emily then ends this first video by saying that she was told to leave the salon with no solution, and she says that since this, she's been messaged by a bunch of people who've had very similar experiences. Now in the second video, Emily goes on to show more pictures where she shows that any part of her hair that was lightened from the dye has now actually fallen off. And then we get to see some lengthy messages where Abbey has reached out to Emily talking about the review that Emily has left on Abby's Google reviews, I believe it was, and she has said that she's completely caught off guard. She doesn't think it's fair. She then goes on to talk about how it could be due to the fact that Emily does jujitsu and the way she ties her hair back could have damaged the hair. Emily's then responding saying this isn't the case, it's because of what you did with the hair dye, that's what's caused all of this. Abbey also says that the images that Emily left on the Google review weren't fair because of like the angles and whatnot, so Emily ends up replying with a bunch more images to try and prove her point. It's a big back and forth where clearly they're disagreeing. Emily then shows another picture showing how short her hair is now because of this, and then also shows this before and after again where she says that she spent over $2,250 to have Abbey Brookee do this to her hair. And then the next couple parts are talking about how Emily is now wanting to sue Abbey because of this, and she's saying that she tried serving her at the salon. She had a friend go to the salon to serve Abbey the papers. That person wasn't allowed in to serve the papers, but then eventually in the next video, Emily says that she has now been served and she is suing her.
Now she's been served. I'm still trying to get some sort of justice. I'm still trying to get some sort of refund. And through talking about this publicly, I have had dozens of girls come out of the woodwork with the exact same situation.
And in fact, in this video, Emily goes on to show some messages that she's receiving people saying they've had very similar experiences. And like I said in my last video, there is no way of me proving these. You have to bear that in mind. I don't know who these messages are from. They are just messages, right? So you kind of had to take it with a pinch of salt, but these are the messages she shows. This is the first one right here. This is the second one she shows, and then here's the third one. Like I said, we don't know who these are from. We don't have much more information than what is actually in the messages themselves, so take that how you will. You can pause and read them. But now this is where we get to the brand new update, if you've already seen my first video, where Abbey Brookee first of all says that she usually wants to stay positive on her page, but she has to talk about this.
I have always wanted to spread peace, love, and kindness back into the world, simply because I think the world needs more of it. I've been online creating videos for over 6 years trying to do just that. But today I must address something that I've been trying to deal with in private, but unfortunately the situation has been made very public.
Abbey then says that Emily has very thin and fine hair, and she goes on to explain the reason why Abbey actually came into the hair salon in the first place.
On May 28th, 2024, I colored one of my regular clients' hair. Now, she has very thin, fine hair just from genetics, so she's always worn hair extensions. In this before photo, she is wearing 4 packs of hand-tied wefts along with half a pack of K-tips. She wanted a brown balayage, which technically would be considered a color correction because her starting base was black. So we colored her hair and then we went ahead and installed her hair extensions.
And then Abbey goes on to show the prices for this, and then also shows some text messages from Emily after she'd originally been in that were positive.
This is how much her service cost on May 28th. Keep in mind, all of these prices are after tax, and she did purchase hair extensions, but that was prior. It wasn't on May 28th, and typically hair extensions last for 1 year total, so you just reuse them. The next day, she showed off her new hair and said, "You the best." 2 weeks after her initial hair appointment, she decided she wanted a 4th pack of hair extensions installed, where she then says, "Amazing, thank you. Also, I am so happy with the color. It looks incredible. You're the best."
And then 5 weeks after the initial hair appointment was when it seems like, judging from everything that we have seen so far, is when Emily first mentions the damage that she feels like has been done to her hair. She then goes back to the salon, but Abbey is saying that everything looked fine and her hair looked healthy.
She then sent me a message 5 weeks after her initial hair appointment expressing that she felt like there was some damage, so I gave her some product recommendations, how to care for her hair at home, and then ultimately we decided I was going to see her hair in person again in 10 days for her extension maintenance, so we would discuss when we see it in person. On July 10th, I then saw her hair for the second time in person, where I maintenance her hair extensions, and in my professional opinion, I've been doing hair for almost a decade now, and her hair looked very healthy, strong, normal, nothing was out of the ordinary, and that's what we discussed during this appointment.
So I think that is a very key part in the story, right? She's saying 5 weeks after the initial hair appointment was when damage was kind of first mentioned, when Emily first thought that her hair was being damaged. Now, the reason why that's important is because later on in the video, Abbey does say 2 months after the appointment, it was still healthy. Which that might be true in her opinion, right? She might think that it did look healthy, and maybe it was, but I do think it's important to note that it was 5 weeks after the appointment, not 2 months, when it was first mentioned by Emily. Now, at this point in the video, Abbey goes on to show the messages that we have seen from Emily's videos, where she kind of reached out to her because of the Google review, and she gives her thoughts on these messages.
We then message back and forth for a few days, where I tell her I believe her hair looks like it's the same length in these photos, and to be honest, my messages were not coming from like a mean or malicious place. They were actually coming from a place of love and education, because as a hairstylist for almost 10 years, I know it can be something as little as our lifestyle habits that can have a big impact on our hair. So that's what my concern was. I know she is a trained fighter and she does jujitsu on a regular basis, multiple days a week. So in my brain, I'm thinking that it's the tension and friction from her hair elastics that is causing this, or the friction that is when she's like sparring with her opponents.
Which, I mean, this explanation actually had like quite a mixed reaction in the comment section of my original video. Granted, obviously it wasn't up that long, but the people who did see it, there was a bit of a mixed reaction to that. There was a lot of people saying that having a hair tied up wouldn't cause this, and there was a lot of people saying the complete opposite and saying that could have definitely caused it. So not only was that being debated, I feel like one big debate now is going to be the period of time from like the initial appointment to the complaints. 5 weeks, according to Abbey from these messages. Maybe we'll hear something different from Emily, but it seems like 5 weeks is the answer at the minute. Now, Abbey later goes on to say that if her hair was damaged, you would know straight away. It wouldn't take 5 weeks to notice that. Well, she says 2 months at that part of the video, but 5 weeks from what we're seeing in the original part of the video. So I think that is also another part that people are probably going to debate. Would it be something that you would notice instantly, or is it something that's going to happen over a period of time, like 5 weeks, for example? But now this is where Abbey goes on to talk about when Emily actually came to the salon. And obviously in Emily's video, she's saying that Abbey was aggressive and like shoved the phone in her face and all this stuff. Now, Abby's story is completely different, said that she wasn't aggressive, saying that she wouldn't try and like be aggressive to someone who was a trained fighter who does jujitsu, and in fact she showed the footage to the police and they agreed.
On August 28th, she came into the salon where we had a very quick and brief interaction, as it's really hard to have a conversation with someone where only one person is allowed to talk. Now, if I'm being honest with you, I'm 5'2", I've never been in a fight in my life, and I wouldn't choose a trained fighter as my first opponent. I did feel very unsafe for myself and my clients after this interaction, so I just called the non-emergency line where 2 police officers were dispatched. I showed them the security footage from all 3 of our angles, and they did deem that I did not assault her, and I was simply just showing her my phone.
Now again, like I said earlier, this is just kind of who do you believe at this point, right? Because they both have 2 very different sides of the story, especially at this part, and there's no real proof to show either of them, really. Now, of course, Abbey is saying that she has the proof of the CCTV footage. We just haven't seen that, right? So based on what we actually know, it's not much. Now, this part in Abby's video I found very interesting, right? Because obviously one big part of Emily's videos was that she just wanted a refund. That was a big part. And I would say it in my video, I was like, she just simply wanted a refund. I feel like this situation didn't need to end up in a lawsuit if a refund was just given. Like, that seems like a really easy solution. Well, Abbey is saying in her video that she did offer a refund. Granted, it was a little bit later, after a complaint to the Better Business Bureau, but she's saying that she did offer a refund.
She filed a complaint against me with the Better Business Bureau asking for a refund on the services provided on that date. And she said if a refund is provided, then all online complaints will be immediately removed. I did respond, and I did offer her a refund on her services that were provided on May 28th. At this point, she had gotten her fiance's employees to leave me 13 one-star Google reviews, so I just asked that all 13 Google reviews would be removed.
Okay, let's actually have a read through of this response, right? So it says, I've always valued our relationship and the bond I believe we shared. It saddens me to see the events that have unfolded recently, and I want you to know that I would never intentionally harm your hair in any way. In an effort to resolve the situation, I'd like to offer a full refund for your service on May 28th, totaling $975. Okay, so maybe this is the part that Emily doesn't agree with, right? Because the refund here would only be for the service on May 28th. Obviously, there was multiple appointments here. Emily is saying it totaled $2,250, so she might have saw this number and thought, no, actually, that's not the full amount. So again, I feel like this part might be up for debate, right? So obviously, from Abby's point of view, she is saying that I will refund you for the service you had when you had your hair dyed and you got the extensions in, and that's the thing that you were saying that caused the damage to your hair. Now, from Emily's point of view, she wants a refund from multiple appointments throughout this process where she was saying that her hair was damaged, she went back in for appointments, and it obviously still remained damaged. So yeah, I would actually love to know your opinions in the comment section about that specifically there. Do you feel like it should be a refund offered as it was, the $975 for the one appointment, or do you think it should be a collection of the multiple appointments throughout the situation? In return, I kindly ask that the 13 one-star reviews posted by you and your peers be removed by Monday. Yeah, so this was something that Abbey mentions a lot, that a lot of fake reviews were left on pages. I don't agree with the fake review stuff. I don't think you should be leaving a review unless you've actually been there and experienced it yourself. Doesn't really make sense otherwise, does it? But yeah, as we see here on the Better Business Bureau, it says the consumer rejected the business offer a second time. So this is saying that Emily rejected Abbey's offer for the refund. Now at this point in the response is where Abbey actually says that this is something that you would notice straight away if like her hair was really damaged.
If you would see bleach damage, it would happen directly, immediately in the chair. You would see clumps of hair falling out while you are still in the hair salon and immediately following right after. If I saw her for 2 appointments after this, I saw her 2 months later and her hair was completely healthy. We had the conversation. Everything looked fine. Guys, I've been doing this for almost 10 years. If you've met me, I am the most honest person. And ultimately, when you're seeing this dramatic breakage happen at the 4, 5, 6, 7 month mark, ultimately, I don't know what you're doing at home. I don't know your stress level. Stress plays such a huge importance. If you're planning a wedding, that's pretty stressful.
Okay, so you get the point, right? You're saying after a certain amount of time after the initial appointment, it's kind of like you problem, right? This could be stuff that you're doing at home. It wouldn't be anything to do with the initial procedure. Now, obviously, she mentions 2 months here. Like I said before, the complaints did come in 5 weeks later, and obviously, she had some valid points, right? Clearly there was damage. We've seen what happened later. But obviously from Abbey's point of view, she's saying that the damage got worse because of stuff that Emily was doing at home with her like tying her hair up when she was like doing jiu-jitsu. But regardless of the whole 2 months thing, right? Even if we look at it from 5 weeks when the initial complaint actually came in, I would love to know your opinions, right? I'm not a professional hairstylist. I haven't been doing this for a decade like Abbey says she has, right? So I don't know as much as she does, clearly. So do you think that is too much time to the point where it is now the client's fault? Or do you completely disagree with that? Please let me know in the comment section down below. I feel like that's obviously a very important part in this. Now at this point in the video, Abbey says that she hasn't reached back out to Emily since all this kind of came online because she's obviously being sued.
Now, I have not reached back out to her because she did decide that she wanted to sue me. So our court papers have already been processed. They've been processed for a long time. So ultimately, I cannot give her a refund because we are going to court over this.
And then Abbey ends the video by saying that she doesn't like the fact that her other hairstylists have been brought into this and she will continue to preach positivity.
But to bring my salon and 8 other hairstylists into this that have nothing to do with this, like my hairstylists are out here just trying to build a clientele and afford groceries and pay for their rent, like let alone rounding up over 50 people to leave fake 1-star Google reviews from people who have never even stepped foot into my salon is so disgusting. Now, I will not condone any form of cyberbullying, and ultimately, I have been, will always be preaching light and love and positivity and just putting good back out into the world. I mean, like, that's why I got into hair in the first place. So, we're gonna get back to that now.
Yeah, obviously, like I say in a lot of these videos, right, no one deserves to be getting, like, just straight up hate online and people just being overly horrible. It's so bang out of order, and people always like comment like whenever I say bang out of order. I didn't realize it was a weird saying until I started mentioning it on YouTube and I saw the comments come in. But yeah, it's not right. In these type of situations, you should never be going out your way and just being completely hateful to a person, right? There's a very, very big difference between valid criticism and just hate. There's a big difference, and especially like the hairstylists who are also at like the salon who really have nothing to do with any of this. Yeah, it's not on. Now, ultimately, this is obviously going to be concluded in court. We're going to see what actually happens in the end, and it'll be interesting, right? Because we do now have some added details. We have both sides of the story, and I think a big part of this that probably will be brought up a lot in court is the refund that was offered originally. Obviously, again, there's a bit of a debate whether that was like a full refund or if it should have been for the multiple sessions and not just that one session. That's obviously going to be the debate. Would love to know your opinions in the comment section down below. But now for even more updates, right? Because Emily has now responded to Abbey's response where she has a lot to say. It's a 12.5-minute video, right? And she first of all starts off by saying that she didn't bring the other hairstylists into this.
I have not once brought any of her other stylists into this scenario. I not once have named them. They have nothing to do with this.
And then goes on to say this is because of what Abbey has done, and as a person who owns a business, she owns a tattoo studio, she would take responsibility in this situation.
I own a tattoo studio, and so I understand that if I have somebody that is employed under me, it is my responsibility to take care of them and to protect them and to allow them to have a safe environment to come work at where they can grow their business.
And Emily says it's because of the way that Abbey's dealt with this situation that it's actually impacted the other stylists.
Because she failed to deal with the situation, I'm so sad that it has now impacted all of the other girls that work with her, because that's not fair.
And now at this point, Emily goes on to talk about the situation itself and the timeline, and she says she's going to correct what Abbey has said. Now, she does give a bit of a disclaimer that she can't show messages of proof of this because she's blocked and can't access the messages. But Emily starts off by saying that she had been going to Abbey for hair extensions for 2 years and effing was fine. Up until this appointment, her hair was healthy, and after this appointment, it was damaged. And replying to a part of Abbey's video where she's showing like the messages that were positive at first, Emily says the messages were positive at first because she didn't notice at first.
After my appointment, immediately after, my hair looked great. You know, it had product in it, it was curled. I didn't see damage because I'm not a stylist. I don't know, I wasn't touching it. It looked great.
And now at this point, we hear a very crucial part in the story, which is something I spoke about when I was like reacting to Abbey's video, right? Which was the timeline of the initial appointment to when we started noticing any damage. Now, not only is Emily saying it wasn't 2 months later, like Abbey said, but it also wasn't 5 weeks later, as we saw in their messages. It was actually much sooner, but Abbey didn't show it in the video, and Emily can't show it because she is blocked and can't show the messages.
So, right after my first hair wash is when I messaged her initially. Now, she failed to post that for some reason, but after my first hair wash, that's when I first messaged her about the damage.
Now, annoyingly, like I mentioned, we don't have proof for this, but this is such a crucial part in the story, right? If it genuinely was as soon as the first wash, when we got this first message talking about the damage, that does change things a lot. Because then we're not even having a debate over this whole 5 weeks thing, right? But again, we don't have proof for it. It is just a case of who you believe. It's a shame we can't see the messages here. But yeah, if we do end up seeing any messages that prove this, that it was literally after the first wash that there was a complaint about damage, I think that does completely wipe out the whole like jiu-jitsu side of things, right? Because it would be so soon after. Maybe you could make the argument that the tying the hair up didn't help. But again, like I said, if it was literally after the first wash that she noticed the damage and messaged about it, that would be big for her side of the story, clearly. And I'm assuming when this does go to court, that is going to be something that has to be proved, right? There's going to have to be someone blocking here to actually show the messages. But Emily carries on in this video and says that Abbey hasn't took any accountability throughout this whole situation.
It shocks me that throughout this whole situation, not once was there any effort to sympathize, to apologize, to take accountability. She didn't even ask me to come in so she could look at my hair because I offered. I said, I will come in, look at my hair. She didn't want me to come in. She didn't care. And so anyways, I was like, you know, I'll wait till my next tightening appointment so then I can show her in person. So I went to that tightening appointment. I showed her in person. She pretty much just said, oh, it's going to take some time, buy some product and this special hairbrush, which I did. And after that, it got so short.
And now at this point in the video, Emily goes on to talk about the review that she had left on Abbey's page, and she said that she actually left that at a night when she had like a full breakdown of the situation.
I was, you know, we have nightmares about our teeth falling out, our hair falling out. And one night in particular, the night I wrote the review, was when my hair, I had handfuls of my hair in my hand, and I had a full-blown mental breakdown because I felt so wronged by someone I trusted and I built a relationship with.
And now another big part in Abbey's response video was obviously this confrontation in the salon where she's saying that she has the CCTV footage to show that she wasn't aggressive. Well, Emily actually responded to this and she actually challenged Abbey to show the footage and says that there's absolutely no way she's lying in a situation, and if you want to prove that she's lying, show it.
When I went into the salon, she insists that she never touched me. Post the video, Abbey. Post it. Post it with the audio. Because from the camera angle, if you can't see her actually grab me, you can hear me react. Because I asked her why she grabbed me. So if that's the case, Abby, post it.
Now, obviously, again, there's just two completely different sides of a story. We don't know what the middle is here. We haven't seen the footage ourselves. Maybe we will eventually, maybe we won't. And now at this point, Emily goes on to talk about the response on the Better Business Bureau, where obviously it's a big part of Abby's response, where she's saying, I did offer a refund. Now, when I was watching Abby's video, as you would have watched, I was saying, oh, I wonder if the reason is because it's not a full refund. It seems like that is the answer looking at Emily's video here.
Then she finally offered me a partial refund. I said no, because at that point it had been months of me trying to give her the benefit of the doubt to try and find a solution, months of me having mental breakdowns because I was losing my hair in clumps every time I touched it. And so at that point I was like, no, that's not enough. I want a full refund. And I even told Abby, I want a refund for the hair extensions. I will bring them back to you because my hair is so damaged that I can't even have them in my head. What am I going to do with them?
Yeah, like I said when I was previously reacting to Abby's video, I assumed that was going to be the answer, and obviously it does seem to be. She wants the full refund for about $2,000, including the other appointments, and not just that initial appointment. Now, of course, like I mentioned earlier, that's probably something that's going to be debated on whether it should be the refund of $900 for the initial appointment, or the full refund, including like the other appointments. Let me know in the comments down below what you think of that. Emily then goes on to say that Abby left out a lot of information in her video, and because of that, she's getting a lot of hate.
There was a lot that she did not mention. There was a lot that she did not include. And now I am getting swarms of hateful messages. I will post some of them. I've gotten some messages telling me to kill myself. So, anyways.
And then Emily ends the video by saying the facts are her hair is damaged after this appointment and it's not because of ponytails.
The facts are my hair was like down to here. I saw Abby for a service and now I don't have any hair. So that's not from ponytails.
So yeah, there you have it, right? That is Emily's response to Abby's response. A lot of information in this video. I feel like it's going to be a pretty long one, but I would love to know your opinions in the comment section down below if you got this far especially, and you've heard all sides of the story. Please let me know. Maybe we'll get further responses. I don't know what's going to happen at this point. There might be a follow-up video, there might not be, but either way, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. And yeah, I'm going to go to sleep because it's actually quite late, but I wanted to make sure that I got all the responses in this one video, so it's all together. So yeah, if you enjoyed, leave a like, subscribe, all that stuff. And until the next one, I'll see you guys in a bit. All right, goodbye.